All right, bang, bang. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Here we are, another episode. Actually, today, my guest was our first real guest that we ever had. It's Pat Corcoran. Pat, welcome back. Thanks been 3 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to have you back, and he's also joined by your brother-in-law, Miral. So thanks for hopping on. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So here's how this happened. So, like, we're always, Chief and I are just always, Chief's here too, if you're just listening on audio right now.
Sup?
Yeah, so we're always like interested in what the hell's going on. We had a diehard Bitcoin guy, Marty Bent,
Bitcoin Marty, yeah.
Bitcoin Marty on. He like explained everything to us. So I was hanging out with Pat Friday, and we were talking about NFTs. I'm like, are you in? Do you know what's going on? He's like, oh, I know what's going on, and he knows what's going on. Apparently, Miral knows even more. Because Miral, is this your full-time job now, or what's your situation?
No, but it definitely feels like it. Because once you're in this space, you don't sleep, you barely eat. It's all you do.
So it's honestly fascinating.
I'm ready for it because this is something that like I keep hearing it. And I keep being like, I'm going to learn about that. I'm going to research it. And then like someone will say something to me about it. And I'm like, I can't. I just don't have the energy, the bandwidth, the intelligence to like figure out exactly what this means. But I'm hoping you guys can dumb it down enough for me so we can have a baseline.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people think of NFTs like when they're describing them to their friends. Sorry, I'm just getting this mic right. They're super hyped on like one project. So when you get told about a mutant ape or a Bored-Ape, people can go pretty deep on just like one specific NFT project, which is kind of confusing because there are thousands, if not like millions of projects that are out there. So normally when you're interacting with somebody about an NFT collection that they're fucking with, it's like specific to one project.
It's very narrow.
That has all types of intricacies as well.
Okay.
And I could tell you're probably like, what the fuck is Bored-Ape and Mutant Ape?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not. So that's what. Here was my thing too.
I was like, how do I want to sound like a moron within the first 30 seconds?
No. It's you don't sound like a moron because like there are even people who are in the NFT game who wouldn't know much about those projects other than they exist.
Okay, so when you talk about these different projects, how would you break that down? Are they different categories of different things? Like, what is an example of a project?
Sure. Yeah, I think like a project is just kind of like a collection of anything, and one of the common projects right now, project format would be a 10K project, where essentially there's 10,000 pieces to a project, 10,000 tokens or additions, right? So imagine Topps puts out, the rookie card set, and there's 10,000 cards in that set. Okay. And of those cards, you got your LeBrons, your Jordans, like the super rare, like the black border foil LeBron rookie is worth like $500,000 or something like that.
As the actual physical card or as an NFT?
As a card, So NFTs are similar, they're just digital.
Right. No, I understand. I didn't. So now you're making an NFT of an image that already exists.
Yeah, you can do that, and you can really make an NFT for anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's interesting too is I first became aware of them from Top Shot, and for whatever reason, like it just never made sense to me. Top Shot, because like the NBA, do you know what Top Shot is?
Yeah, like you would buy a specific Steph Curry 3.
Yes, and I was always like, like the fact that the NBA always had those rights, and I was always like thrown off, like how are they going to officially own that? So this is kind of different when the way it's like a 10K finite amount kind of really made that make more sense. Because is Top Shot, it's kind of fading, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think it's as popular anymore. And like a lot of these 10K projects, they're meant for profile pictures. So like they're used on Twitter, and like that's like a lot of the main utility for those right now. So
I would say those Top Shot were like an effect of like a first to market strategy, So it's like kind of a craze. They had the, I guess, ability and mobility to produce an NFT quickly. So when everything started happening, they got first to market, and so they didn't really have a long-term strategy, and nobody really knew what NFT sort of format would take off. And so in the recent months, say in the last 4 to 6 months, the 10K project format has really taken off, which we'll talk a lot about 10K projects today. It'll seem like those are the only formats that work, but there certainly are other formats of NFTs like the Top Shot that I don't believe that's a 10K project, but I just remember a few things being for sale that were, marketable at that time, but I don't believe that those are one of 10,000 editions.
So with these 10K projects, is the idea of having a fixed finite number?
Yeah.
Is that similar to like a Bitcoin where it's like this is it, like this is the final, and it like limits? You're nodding your head. Yeah. So that's the idea. Like
that's
you want
the supply.
That's the supply. So you want it to be finite. Now going back to something you just said like 30 seconds ago, talking about like profile pictures and the utility of that. I still don't really understand the utility of NFTs like in general. So if you can just explain like.
Sure. I think right now there's a lot of utility that hasn't been discovered yet. So we're kind of just seeing like the early stages of what's coming up. But like a lot of the utility is you might get exclusive, you have rights to that image. Like you could commercially use that image. You could do anything you want with it. You also get like exclusive rights to like events possibly. And then the project, depending on what it is, like they might airdrop you another image or NFT in the future that's worth money as well.
Okay.
That's a key distinguisher right there. That's how I understood it too. And by the way, also, if you're watching on YouTube at the Barstool Chicago YouTube, we're going to have a visual learning here. So it's going to be really good to watch this one there, but we'll try to do our best for the people that are just listening in their car. But the utility side, that's the thing where I'm like, oh, okay. So these people who, if you get one of these 10K Bored-Apes, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the way I'm understanding. I'm just trying to break it down. You might be possibly let into like a private VIP party at like the Staples Center, right? Or like,
they just had a event in New York and like a yacht party. So if you had one of these NFTs, you were part of that, and like they threw a concert, and so
okay. So who's putting on that concert, and what's the value in doing that? Like what's the value? Like I understand for maybe the end user, but whoever is selling it.
When you buy an NFT, you kind of become part of that community. Like you make connections, you establish relationships, and that all comes part of the NFT. It's like it's not just the picture you see on your computer. It's like a community. And then you do stuff with that community to build and grow. So does that disincentivize people from putting their NFTs on the market then? Because it's like, I'm in this club, I want to stay in this club. Right. I mean, there's
a lot of back and forth on that.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that, have one always to hold and flip others. So it's just everyone has their own strategy.
Okay.
But then if it's not utility, it's just for a profile picture or something. Is that right?
So there's projects that have no utility and still do well. There's other projects that try to do things to bring value to holders that hold those NFTs. And
you got to explain to them the Steph Curry one, which is fucking crazy to me. The golf course one.
Oh, Link's DAO.
Listen to this. Yeah. This is fucking nuts.
I could pull it up actually.
Yeah.
So
this is something that you own?
No, I don't own this one, but we talked about it. This is a NFT, and essentially the utility behind this NFT is that they're gonna all buy these tokens to fund the world's greatest golf club. And so everybody who buys one of these tokens, they're all the same, essentially like they're all memberships to a golf club that they're all funding together via this token.
So this is like your membership fee?
This would be one of them. Who knows? They might say now that you have one to take to the next level to get the serum or the next drop, you might have to.
We'll get there. We got to build. We got to build the serum.
I'm already like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Let me rewind. Like, there are NFT projects that are PFP projects, like where you literally buy them just to have a cool profile pic.
Okay. I've seen that advertised on Twitter.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that particular project won't roll out a utility in the future.
Okay.
I mean, and also you were asking a little bit about the community, like the NFT creator, those groups of people or companies or individuals in some cases, via smart contract that operates on the blockchain, they'll own a piece of every single NFT that's in the project with whoever buys it.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how Bored-Ape or Mutant Ape will have the funds and kind of the resources to put together yacht parties and club parties in New York. Because if we look at, I'll go back here in a little bit to the stats, but I think like the volume on Bored-Apes is like, I don't know, in the billions of dollars traded.
I think 2 billion.
2 billion. So that's
the market cap, maybe.
So the creator of that group has made 10 or 12% on every single transaction that Bored-Apes have traded across platforms.
And what is the utility of Bored-Ape again?
Right now, it's just a PFP project, and they've begun
PFP?
Profile pic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Profile.
Yeah, sorry about it.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen them now begin to roll out, or I haven't seen anything actually, but Miral knows more about it. But in my opinion, it's just been a profile picture project.
Okay.
And now they're beginning to roll out utility, whereas something like Links DAO will launch with a real utility. And people will say, they'll be like, okay, if this project takes off, not only will I own this NFT that will gain in value, but I'll also potentially have a membership to, their mission statement is come together to create one of the world's greatest golf clubs and reimagine the country club.
Okay.
And then so look at it like this too, and like I said, please stop in on me. I'm just trying to like dumb it down because that's what I needed.
Yeah.
So the Nelk Boys.
No.
All right, whatever. They have a YouTube channel, super
Yeah.
popular, big time channel. They just released an NFT on the blockchain, and they made 23 million in like minutes because they must have done 10K as well too, and they made 23 million right off the gate, and so they make that out of the gate, and then every trade, every commission, they make more too.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I understand the financials of it. I still don't understand. Like the membership club, great, okay. But it's not a currency. It's not. Is it like I keep getting like this thing where it's like, well, you have this image, but it's not like a fine art piece. Where
No, I would consider it an asset and not currency.
Okay, so it is an asset. So
yeah, just like a trading card could be an asset if you have a nice one.
Or like a piece of fine art.
Yeah.
But then who determines, and I guess you can make the same claim for fine art, who determines that value? It has to be the market. But if it's not being like, if you're saying more and more like this club, then it's probably not trading hands, and there's not like supply and demand for it once you hit that 10K membership, correct?
Well, that's where the speculation will come in. So something like this club is a 10K project, and once 10K fills up, maybe not all 10,000 people are, I'm gung-ho about this,
Okay.
Maybe as it's picked up steam, speculators have gotten into this product and have said, okay, this is picking up steam. Steph Curry just bought one. I'm going to buy 5 so I can make some money on it.
Okay, so then they're flipping it to other people who just want to be in with Steph Curry.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot, if you get into the NFT game, you'll see a lot of volatility.
Okay.
Lots of volatility. So projects will blow up overnight. I mean, look at some of these numbers that we're looking at. This top project in the last 7 days is up 121%. I mean, if you saw any of these numbers that are on the screen in green and red, like across the stock market, people would be losing their shit.
Yeah.
So there's typically a lot more volatility in these projects, so that opens up the door for pure speculative traders, so to speak, to come in and buy something at a low price and sell it at a high one.
Okay.
And marketplaces like this OpenSea, there's Nifty Gateway, Coinbase. These are what have shot NFTs out of the cannon. They've brought in a platform.
This is a trading platform.
Yeah, it's like a trading platform, but also you have a profile on it. It's where you can go and like look at my collection of NFTs or Mirals.
Okay.
So it's a trading platform, but everything on this blockchain is public. So when you go onto my profile, you can actually see how much I've purchased a certain NFT for and how much I've sold certain NFTs for. And so it's very transparent in a way. It's very different than the way banking and economics and trading works. Like if senators were trading NFTs based off of insider information, we could literally just look at it if they were kind of public about their wallet or whatever. It's super interesting.
So we're on OpenSea right now.
Yeah.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you see this. If not, it basically is columns of the volume, what it's done the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, the floor price, how many people have it, and then the 10K items. Typically, that's what they are. So you see, Bored-Ape. I think that's the easiest way to describe it, right? With Bored-Ape, there's 10K and 6.2K have it. So why? Can you explain why only 6.2 thousand people have it? Like, why is that?
That's just the distribution level. So as the project was minted, I think in the beginning, I think it was maybe like 3,000 people that initially bought the whole project, and then during this time they sold off, and now it looks like majority of people have one or less.
Okay, so can you scroll down a little bit?
Sure.
And minting too is important. If you could explain, like that's like how like everything. That would be great.
So you got a bunch of apes with facial expressions wearing various types of hats we might have seen throughout history.
Yeah, they call all these differences traits.
Okay.
So if we go into like this Bored-Ape right now that has a minimum bid of $1 million.
Okay.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
This is kind of a fun thing. Like, imagine you've got all your baseball cards spread across your bed and you're trying to figure out, all right, what makes these rare? What is rare? What's the value here? It's kind of like the digitized version of it. So if we go into properties here, this will sort of tell you, this will tell you all about what this NFT includes in terms of the traits of the character.
Okay.
And this is kind of exclusive, I would say, to PFP projects. I don't know how there would be traits for something like Link's DAO. Rarity is not really a factor in that, in that project. But this is kind of like I would say, run-in-the-mill type of NFT. There's not anything that's super rare, but it's not also incredibly...
It's clean, like the aesthetics are clean. And that's sometimes people look at the aesthetics more than the rarity.
So you
especially for this project.
You guys do talk about it like it is a piece of art.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So you think there's because that would be my question. So I saw in there somewhere that it said its floor price, maybe it's not on this page, but it was $88.
So that's
was that for the whole collection? That would be the cheapest one in this collection.
So that's 88
Ethereum.
ETH.
Oh, okay. Couldn't see that far.
And what's ETH right now? Do you know?
Like 3,000, 2,500 maybe?
I think it's like 2,500 now or so.
Is everything bought and sold with NFTs through cryptocurrency?
Through Ethereum.
For the most part.
For this collection, yeah.
Okay. So
a lot of projects when they launched, like like Beeple had his NFT. I think it went for like 53 million through Sotheby's or Christie's or one of those. We all heard about it last March. That for sure had to been a cash transaction.
Yeah.
And I think probably those Top Shot ones were too. These marketplaces have really been kind of like the driver behind, people using crypto wallets and crypto to acquire these types of things.
So who's the guy who draws paints the teddy bears in Chicago, those murals?
Not Banksy, right?
No.
JC Rivera?
JC Rivera, thank you. So like these in a way remind me of his work, like stylistically. Why are these so much more like I don't see the inherent value of like the aesthetics of these pictures in a way that I would for a Da Vinci. Like I just don't.
Well, this project when it came out, it was like one of the first 10K projects that was made by code to like generate these NFTs randomly. So
those are randomly generated through AI?
They're through code, they're randomly generated, like 10,000 of them. So like
that's fucking wild too.
So like
it's just a list of traits, and then a computer just spits out. So
that was like one of the first big projects that had like all these different traits, a 10K, and it looked really good. So that's kind of like it kind of set the standard.
Okay. So you think the Bored-Apes are the standard for this new type of collection?
It definitely paved the way, and it made a lot of...
It's the poster child.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a standard by any means.
Yeah,
Because like if you look at other successful projects, the kind of creative behind the art, it's very narrow.
Yeah.
So like another successful project is a Mutant Ape, which we'll get into, but aesthetically it's similar. They're actually based on each other.
Okay.
And also, just to back up a little bit, you said the Mona Lisa, which I thought was interesting. Are you actually into that type of art?
I have an easier time conceptualizing the value of something like that, like these fine oil, Renaissance oil paintings that are old. They have cultural significance.
Yeah.
Like they're exceptionally rare. The artists are dead.
Yeah.
In my brain.
Yeah.
I understand why those would go for more money and be appreciated culturally, internationally, than I would this sad looking monkey with a birthday hat on.
Yeah.
Like it just, to me, like they just don't necessarily line up.
Yeah, the value is built by, the just kind of the culture, as you put it, respecting it. And I'm sure there's some cultures that don't even know what the Mona Lisa is.
Totally.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like once you kind of break through that barrier and you're in like a tipping point of culture, whatever community it may be, that value can start becoming speculative and things can shoot through the moon. Like the piece that we just looked at, I mean, it's being offered for way too much money, but if we look here, its last sale was for 29 Ethereum, which had to be months ago. At this point, we could actually look at it. This is a cool part about these NFTs. If we look at it here, it looks like it was sold 5 months ago for 29 ETH. And the floor right now is 88.
Okay.
So this guy's making pretty good money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And explain that too.
If he's flipping it.
Yeah, if he's flipping it. Yeah. I mean, he could totally hold on to it and the value could diminish.
Yeah.
And he could lose a lot of money. I mean, if we look at the person before him, it was sold for 38 ETH.
Yeah.
And it was probably a dip or something. And this guy bought it for 29 and now it's at 88. So, and this looked like it happened in the same month. So look, September 5th, 2021. So that's a week apart, 8 days apart. And 10 ETH or 9 ETH, today's market value, that's like 20 grand.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Different. So
you could lose as much, even faster,
So the 10,000 projects, explain how people get in. Like, how do these people get one of these, the starters? And that's like the minting factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you just put like you get in on a project and like if you're the first ones to claim it, is that right?
So yeah, like basically when there's a new project, people can mint it and there's a set price and you can mint certain amount of NFTs per wallet. So whatever that limit is, that's how much you can mint, and then you can, it's like a lottery ticket basically.
So, and then you get your assigned ape, and then if however rare it looks, like, then you sell it from there. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I guess like I'm hung up on the utility word because like to me like utility that's like a philosophical word.
Yeah.
Like it has, and so I'm trying to think of like business applications. The first thing that comes to mind. Now I don't know dick about NFTs, but like, why aren't tickets NFTs to events? Like that to me sounds like that's an application and utility that could be used in a way that's like, no, like this was my experience, this was my ticket, and like I'm holding on to that the same way that you would, like the old physical ticket. Like so a lot of people like held on to those like it was a special thing, like that, like I own that memory in a way. So but like this to me, like I own this monkey, and I'm having a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Where the value is, because it doesn't seem like you can apply it to anything else.
I think tickets could be a utility for an NFT, but tickets being an actual NFT, I suppose you could do it, but it would be an awful lot of work to make them all unique enough where you're like, I own it, it's unique and it's in my wallet and people know I went. Yeah, which is kind of cool. I think that's a cool idea. Even if they're all the same, it'd be like, oh no, I went to the Barstool party and it's in my OpenSea on my profile. But the way I think, like if the Cubs were to do an NFT project, potentially what they could do is buy into the Cubs NFT and get tickets from the NFT.
Okay.
And again, you could also apply that first idea to that, where you'd get a ticket and would live in your profile, so people would know, oh, I went to Cubs Sox when it went to 12 innings or whatever.
Yeah, like maybe you have some sort of rights to, like if they set up a camera in every section, like this was my view, and this was my NFT from my ticket. Like I was at Game 7 of the World Series. Yeah. And like you could, I don't know, like I'm just spitballing here because I'm still struggling.
No, I think what you're doing is amazing because
I'm amazing.
It's what a lot of people are trying to dig in right now because people are starting to realize how these NFT projects can be utilized in creative ways. And so that's why you're seeing things like Links DAO. Now, will that ever work? Who knows? But they've been inspired enough by some of these 10K projects, which right now don't have much utility.
Mm-hmm.
They said, man, these people have gotten together and put a lot of money together. What can we do with the money?
Yeah.
You know, so I think there are a lot of smart people out there right now thinking exactly like you,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, holy shit, I work at Barstool. You guys do all sorts of events, right?
Yeah.
You guys can NFT so much shit. Eddie and I were talking about it on Friday, and you guys have dipped your toe, but there are a lot of, like I said, there's just a lot of smart people and groups out there thinking about how can we make this experience more, I don't know, I guess like inclusive from a digital perspective.
Yeah. Like I took an unfortunate engagement picture with Ozzy Guillen when we opened up our bar. And there's one person in particular that every single time I have a tweet, he just replies with that picture. And I want to be able to be like, that's my picture. I don't like make it an NFT and then like sue him every time he tweets it at me. Is that possible?
Sure.
Okay.
You'd have to, whoever took the picture.
My girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
Well, you guys have to work out something.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you'd have,
she's doing fine.
you could potentially, I don't know if you'd have to mint something like that, but, or you could just put it for sale like an auction, kind of like Sotheby's or,
Okay.
but this guy could potentially go into the auction and buy it from underneath you.
That's fine. That's fine as long as I'm getting
But if
like
you did
compensated.
if you did the smart contract, then you could
Okay.
own half of it to who, you know, or however much you stipulate.
Okay.
The smart contract doesn't really have any bounds as far as I know, but you could say whoever buys this will own it and have the rights to do anything with it.
But
and I will too.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
Can you pull up the
Yeah.
Barstool one? Because I also think this is one of the
Yeah.
best ways to explain this to our audience, since obviously they're listening to a Barstool podcast.
Like I've seen Tommy Smokes tweet things about this. Like
I don't think that's real,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. But look,
Oh, there's a
is it
couple
real?
more.
He's actually doing that?
Yeah, Tommy Smokes is actually making
Oh, really?
NFTs from those pictures and
Wait,
Buddha
when
Ben,
did this
like,
go
owns
up?
them all.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
Okay, so yeah, all right, 2 months ago.
So look at go to the Dave one with the pizza review with the
Oh,
guy
it's
with
like
no
the best
arms.
piece of review of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
And so they sold this.
So it's a whole video
Mm-hmm.
of the whole pizza review.
Mm-hmm.
And look who owns it, Miral. This is this.
It's
I
a
was
huge well.
I was tripping when I saw this because Miral and I saw him buy something on the activity chart. Like we were just watching kind of transactions happen on the blockchain. I saw this guy buying a few things, and I clicked into his profile, and we'll do that in a little bit. But he's like the whale of whales, and has, I mean, just in one line, like 5 NFTs, probably like $5 million or $6 million, and
Jesus.
he owns thousands of NFTs. He is
Big
a
time.
savage, and he owns this,
Yeah.
which is really cool because he's got a crazy portfolio, and he's holding it. I think he's
Definitely.
had it for a few months.
So he's thinking that this is going to go up in stock.
I mean,
That's
yeah, look,
basically it if he's
he
still
bought it
holding
9 months ago. This guy is holding
for
holding
50
hard.
ETH.
Yeah,
For
for
50 ETH, which what is that? Whatever.
125K or something like that.
Okay. And I think it was more at the time. It was like 147 or something. 141.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it went for originally.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
ETH is down right now, like as we were recording.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
at 2,400 right now.
Okay.
Got you. So he owns this fucking pizza review.
So does that mean like that can't be on YouTube anymore?
It depends on the rules of the smart contract, like
Okay.
how you set it up. So whoever put this together for you guys, you know, must have had a conversation with Dave and whoever else may own this and say, what do you want the rules to be?
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and like also this is kind of an interesting thing that OpenSea's put here. I haven't seen this before, but includes unlockable content. Do you have any idea what that means, Merle?
Oh yeah, sometimes there's like an extra file or something that is included within the NFT.
Got it.
So that could be like maybe a downloadable version or something.
So, I mean, you understand the utility behind if we actually went through with this, right? Like if Barstool actually went,
Yeah, I
like if someone if he puts all the pizza reviews on there and he sells them all, and like, okay, if you have this, you get free pizza at any of these.
Well, I mean,
ones.
Dave could do a like a collaboration
Okay.
with every pizza spot and
Yes.
say, okay, if you own the NFT to this review at this spot, I've done a deal with them where you can get half off.
Yes.
You know, for as long as you own the NFT, or
Yes.
20% or whatever it is. And again, I think like the NFT kind of conversation, there's tons of speculation. People buy for a value proposition, but you know, like they're kind of like any sort of vanity piece, like a car, a piece of art.
Okay.
You know, and like you could buy $1 million car, but you could also buy a $5,000, $500 car. It'll still get you point A to point B. And what makes them more valuable is kind of like those traits, or like the rareness of them, right? And the quality.
Yeah. Is there a like a Satoshi? Was that the Bitcoin founder?
Yeah.
Is there a Satoshi for NFTs?
The guy who owns Dave's would probably be the closest that I
to
know.
that? Okay.
But
Is there? You said there's a ton of speculation. Are there certain? Do you think there is an element of people like this guy? What was his?
Maki Big Brother.
Maki Big Brother.
Yeah, this
Is there
this guy's crazy.
Is there an element to people like this? And who's the other guy? Gary V.
Yeah.
Where he's big in this space, right? I feel like I see him on TikTok, and all he does is like talk about NFTs. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. But is there an element of like the big whales, as you would call them, propping this market up to like legitimize it? Is there any like? Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, because that is like,
I think of this industry like I think of any kind of fad industry that pops up every now and then. You know, like just because it's really hot right now doesn't mean it will fizzle away and be completely useless. I kind of think of it like 3D printers. Okay. Like when those came out, everybody's like, "This is gonna change the fucking world."
Build a house with a 3D printer, yeah,
right. You know, and people have built houses and all sorts of like parts for machinery and whatever the fuck. But like the application of that technology didn't really affect all of us, or really maybe we don't feel it as much. But it landed pretty hard, and then it found its kind of niche, you know, for it to be useful to society. And like this is landing really hard right now. Who knows if it will be like completely everywhere continually for the next decade, or maybe for the rest of our lives. But there's also a high likelihood of it finding its niche, you know, and it's really hot right now, but you know, what goes up must come down. So I don't necessarily have all my money on this being like the biggest thing ever forever. But it's having its moment, you know, and these 10K projects have really fueled it, because when Barstool put out their Dave thing, only one person can own it, that Maki guy, and he's only one guy. When you do a 10K project and everybody's posting the same fucking apes, you got 10,000 people out there, most of whom who have influence and money.
Yeah.
So they can really fucking catapult your project, right? So these 10K projects and the platform OpenSea, they've really taken this kind of unique idea of art collecting and like put it on steroids, right? So, and like, of course, I mean, I was on a couple of Instagram pages yesterday, and you'll see artists and creatives, all sorts of people will buy an NFT and then talk about it because they want to see the value go up. Because I don't really think there are a lot of artists who have bought NFTs for the art purpose. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot, but I'm sure there are also at the same time a lot of people are just like, fuck, it's going crazy. I'll buy it. I'll post it. Hopefully one of my crazy fans has a rich uncle or something who'll buy it for me, or whatever the fuck it is. Okay. You know, so I see a lot of like pump and dump type of strategy, which also kind of gives me like I don't know if this is going to be like, it probably will plinko down into its niche. You know what I'm saying? So again, we're talking about something that's really hot, and we're speaking, you know, in very big language about it. But at the same time, I wanted to kind of temper the conversation with this is like we're in the eye of the hurricane right now. And I mean, we've also seen the same thing with crypto too. You know, like this became a huge utility for crypto as well. You know, I'd love to see the metrics and the data on how much crypto's kind of transaction has gone crazy since OpenSea.
Hey, let's take a quick break here from talking about NFTs because it's time to talk about wood grooming, okay? You're going to be sitting there, and I don't care if you're buying art at a fancy art museum. I don't care if you're in the comfort of your own home buying NFTs. You don't want to be stinking. You don't want to be smelling. You don't want the... as Carl likes to do. You don't need that. You don't want that. And that's why you got to getwoodgrooming.com. So go check that out. That's GETWOULD.com. WOUL. I thought I spelled it wrong for a second. Nope, getwood.com, or it's at your local CVS. Everything's under $15. They got shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and deodorant all available in 3 cents. There's the Summer House, there's the Golden Hour, and there's Fresh Tracks. Hair care, shampoo and conditioner. It's got pomades, the body wash, the deodorant, moisturizer. It's got face stuff. Ton of good stuff for you. Just go to getwood.com, hop in on the action. You could follow them too at Wood Grooming if you want to go check them out on social media. And yeah, wood is for those who dare to try new things and always are planning their next adventure. Go to getwood.com, go get your product, or grab it at a CVS. All right, let's hop back into the episode.
Now, with going back to something like that golf course specifically,
Yeah.
and you said, there's X amount of people involved. That golf course does not exist in reality yet, correct?
Correct.
Is there a target date? Like a lot of times, like you could sell a movie script, right? Or the rights to do a screenplay of a movie, and you have you have 10 years to get this movie made, and then if it's not made, then it goes back out to the market. So is there some kind of like a drop dead date to make this project actually come to reality where people can get their money out or get the use of it? Or is it like we're all just hoping for the best, and if it doesn't work, we just pissed away our money?
Well, I can tell you're like an astute, you're not, you don't want to waste your money, because that's
I don't like to waste money.
I don't think, well, that's the thing. Like these things, most people look at these kind of pricing in ETH. So when they're buying something for 2 ETH, they don't think, oh, it's $5,000. It's just 2 ETH, right? Right. But I would say that you're smart for thinking those types of things, because not everybody would think that.
Okay.
But to answer your question,
because I think that sounds very cool,
right?
Like the golf course, if it actually that's something I can understand that. Like I'll buy into this now, and in 2036, okay, I'm gonna have a membership to the sickest golf club in America.
Yeah. Or you could sell it and
I could sell it, I could sell it, make some money. But if there's no I get nervous about there's no end utility unless it ends in something like that. So that has value. So
I would say that there are scams that happen all the time.
Okay.
We've been a part of a project that was
Got
rugged, which is like getting the rug pulled out from under. There's all sorts of sick slang for in the NFT world we'll get into as well. But
rugged is a good start.
Rugged is great. Yeah. Like getting rugged is like It's we bought.
Well, tell us about that project. How did you guys get rugged?
So we minted this project, which was the Pixel Mutant Ape project, and I still think the project's sick.
Like the actual art.
I like the art.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. And we all joined like the Discord server for it and everything, and so we minted it, which means like basically we're gonna buy it from the creator,
from the smart contract.
Yeah, and we're gonna buy it for the lowest amount you could buy that NFT for. And then essentially, one of the people who was involved with that project just took all the money and left.
Oh, what the fuck?
And then all of the value, even lower than what we bought it for. Like you couldn't give these away now. We all bought them for $150. But so we got rugged.
Okay.
And you
don't want to get rugged.
Is there protection how do you know if you're how can you protect yourself against getting rugged? If you're getting into the NFTs for the first time and open an account.
I think now there's probably a high likelihood if you have pretty good frequency in the trading game, you're taking risks on early NFT projects. You're going to be part of a project that doesn't do well. It might necessarily not get rugged.
So this would be like the equivalent of what people call shit coins.
Altcoins, I think would be would be a better way of putting it. But I was to get back to your question about what are the terms, right?
Yeah,
you're and so a lot of these projects have white papers, just kind of like a vision board borrowed from the tech communities and their vision for their companies or projects. So LinkStyle has one here. I'm not sure. I've never been in here, but we can check it out and hear your terms.
Okay.
So. But typically, I haven't gone into any of these yet, and I'm not super experienced in the NFT game. I've kind of just gotten my feet wet in the last couple months, but have definitely learned a lot. But
I think the team is important, and when you get into a project, you're not just buying an NFT, you're kind of putting your money and bets on the team, and you're kind of seeing how they executed things in the past. how they deliver.
Okay.
And you know, if they have no track record, if they're like anonymous, then obviously it's a huge risk.
Okay.
But in NFTs in general, like you don't want to put any money you can't afford to lose, because like it could be so volatile, and like you can get really lucky.
Yeah.
So
We
like,
tell
to
that
me-
to people on our gambling app too.
So like to me,
Yeah.
like if you're gonna get into NFTs, like expect it to go to zero. But along the way, you're gonna learn so much where like you'll kind of pave your way.
Now, is
Okay.
that like a thing too with the blockchain can help you out with legitimacy? Because isn't it kind of
Yeah.
like feedback and like eBay?
So
Like-
yeah, there's a lot of tools you can use to like vet projects and things. But yeah, the blockchain is your friend. Definitely use it to your
Advantage. Yeah.
So how much money has this Lynx DAO raised total?
It looks like
So
3,700.
in
ETH.
traded volume.
Yeah.
So that doesn't include like the mint
Okay.
cost, how much they initially raised.
Because I have another idea, and I think it might be stupid, but I'm going to say it anyways. Okay. What if I wanted to start an NFT to buy like the Bears? And
Yeah.
it's just like you're kind of just selling, like you're selling NFTs to like raise this money.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I get to own the Bears without really doing anything, but then everybody else would own them too.
Yeah, so these DAOs are essentially like groups of people who have a common cause, are
Okay.
united by a common cause to
Okay.
raise money for the world's greatest golf course or to buy the Bears.
Okay.
And then there was recently a DAO for a piece of art that was for sale, and I think Ken Griffin came in over the top. Here, I'll put it in. Ken
that's
that
Griffin
guy.
v. DAO. So this is it. So from The Verge, this happened in November.
Hedge fund billionaire outbid in crypto investors for a rare copy of U.S. Constitution.
I remember seeing this
So-
too. Yeah.
So the crypto investors put together a DAO, which
Do you guys know what a DAO is?
I mean, I've heard it's
It's a decentralized autonomous organization. So like basically it's where like a bunch of people collectively vote on what to do with like the funds.
Okay.
So it's not like just the team has the money and
Yeah.
so it's like the Congress of the NFT.
yeah.
Okay.
And like a lot of DAOs are bullshit, but like the real DAOs, like you can't like touch or move that money without like, you know, like the right people involved. So
So you got to see. So this is where like my mind really got blown. So go back to Maki and like you got to see some of his trade history, and
he's
because
a beast.
yeah, he's a monster. And what really
Do
like
we know what his real identity is?
Yeah,
it's right here.
He's doxxed.
If you just go to here,
his Instagram? He's from Asia, right?
apparently, yeah. I've never met him, but I'm not sure.
Who's like the leading
Singapore,
country?
it looks like.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Singapore. What country has embraced NFT the most, or is it
Probably
is it
America.
the
Yeah.
United States? Okay.
Yeah, and I also want to go back. If you had any of these DAOs, you can buy into. Like Lynx DAO is a DAO.
Okay.
So like the Constitution DAO, dubbed Constitution DAO, you could have bought into it.
Okay.
And you could have been a part owner of a rare copy of the U.S.
I mean, like
Constitution.
that to me is sick. Like
Right?
that has like that to me like has inherent value.
Yeah.
But
So-
does it though at the same time? Because it like if you're a Packers owner, like who gives a fuck, you know? But the difference with this is
Well, they could sell it. They could re-auction it. They could.
The Packers ones, they don't have any rights.
yeah.
They get
yeah.
a piece of paper, but they don't have like voting rights. They don't really sit on the board. Like you know, like it's just like it's another way to.
It's vanity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you like, and so is the Constitution, I guess. But it's the Constitution.
Yeah, but it has real value. I don't
Right.
think you can resell those Packers shares.
No, you can't.
So like
Yeah.
with this group, if they had been successful in their bid to buy it, they could sell it in 20 years or 10 years for profits.
So let's say,
And
this-
in the meantime,
Yeah.
if it was a tradable DAO, it could potentially pick up value just by
Yeah.
that DAO having NFTs, you know, as part of their ownership that pick up speculative value.
well, and hey, that's the other thing too. Or you're saying it's like both things are. So, you have like two extremely volatile things. Like the price of this NFT itself, very volatile, but so is the thing it's traded in. So like you could theoretically make or lose money coming and going.
For sure.
So it's like, you know, like oh, Ethereum's way down that day, but like
Yeah, it's kind of like
The
if
price
you didn't
doesn't
get a
necessarily
raise.
correlate.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like if you didn't get a raise this year of 7%, you're actually making less money than last year,
Right.
Because of inflation.
You're right.
So like any currency will kind of have that type of deviation from a cost basis perspective, but I mean obviously the U.S. dollar is not changing as much as any cryptocurrency. But yeah, that is a factor, and I do think there are some smart people are out there who are like playing the spreads, who are looking at things and saying, "Oh fuck, like Ethereum's way down. I should go in and clean chop." Like some people have listings up of their NFTs for 20 Ethereum 2 weeks ago, and they're still up. People can come in now and get everything for half off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And what was so I was curious too. I was like, all right, so if you get all the utility and it's gone, Bored-Ape, like besides on the trades, they don't make any money. And that's where this mutated came through, and it's like this is where you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on?
Just so you know, I've already been like, what the fuck's
No,
going
but
on
this
like
is
several
like
times.
you're gonna really
So, like,
Okay.
When it comes to utility, like, so these Bored-Apes, all the holders, they got airdrop these serums. There's
What's a serum?
a serum is like an NFT that mutates your Bored-Ape.
So it's like an accessory.
And it
Okay.
creates another collection, essentially.
Dude, it's fucking nuts.
And that,
Wait.
so basically they're providing value to their holders by giving them this other NFT that mutates that to like another random one, which could be super rare and worth a lot more money.
So it's possible that the mutation ends up being worth more than the original?
Yeah, and
Okay.
if you just look at like the prices on these, it's insane.
Yeah, and also you could buy
Look at the Mega Mutant Serum, like the third one.
Yeah.
It has an offer. Let's see.
76 grand. It was for sale for like
scroll down. That's the highest offer.
I think it was for sale for like 3 million or something.
The last
like that.
one was bought for like I think over 1,000 Ethereum. If you just scroll down, yeah,
Oh yeah,
1,500.
1 point. Oh yeah.
So someone got that for free for just holding a Bored-Ape,
yeah.
and there's like 10 or 12 of those serums that are worth that much.
So this is almost like, no, it's not like that.
That's like $3 million.
Yeah, the math is like my mind is getting blown in like multiple, and it's just like, oh, I bought this and now I have a bonus $3 million. I was gonna say it's like,
Well, actually,
like a
this was just
dividend.
airdropped. So
What do you
these
mean?
you weren't required to buy anything in addition to already owning a Bored-Ape to acquire one of these serums. So holders of Bored-Apes were airdropped this serum, and then
who's making that decision?
the Bored-Ape Yacht Club, which is
So that was part of their like initial roadmap,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they delivered like every single item. That was like the last thing on their roadmap was these serums, and they did it, and it was super successful.
I mean, like three of the top 10 largest.
I'm like still computing things that you're like kind of comprehending things you said 5 minutes ago, and then you drop that on me. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like it is crazy. Keep going though. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, Bored-Ape is a beast. Like,
Yeah.
like 3 out of the top 10 largest probably in the last 6 months is Bored-Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club,
Okay.
and the Bored-Ape Chemistry Club, which is the serum project.
And I gotta say, the more you pull up those pictures, the more I'm like, I kind of like those monkeys. You know, like
Wait, so hold on. So how many people hold the chemistry? What's the? Is there a unit?
It looks like 3 owners right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
for this one, there's only 3 left, and these mega serums, they create one-of-ones, and I think there's only 12 one-of-ones in the whole collection. So
Oh damn.
there's 3 left, and all of those are worth like tons of money.
So then show them some mutated apes because you haven't seen that
No.
yet, right? So that's where, and that starts a whole new project. So
Yep. So the Mutant Ape project is a collection of 20K, and there's still like a little bit over 2,000 that haven't been mutated.
okay. Are there any? I mean, this is crazy too. Are there any? I don't know what it is, but I am. The longer we sit here, I'm getting drawn to these fucking monkeys. Is there any barrier to entry for this? Like, if I wanted to start an NFT, like, what is? Is there a startup cost? Like, what is? How do you get in this game of actually being the person that mints it for my Barstool?
Barstool.
Yeah,
That'd be sick, by the way.
let's do that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, obviously you have to be in terms of a DAO, probably the artwork's not as important.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's a considerable amount of luring that would go into, acquiring the bears.
Mm-hmm. I would assume.
Yeah, and also just if you want to be taken seriously, then you have to take your project seriously. So, putting together like that roadmap, that white paper of, hey, this is why. It's kind of like pitching to your dad why you should, go to the Fish concert when you're 17 at Wrigley or whatever. Yeah. It's like, hey, here's my presentation, and it's got to be believable.
Yeah, or any investor presentation, right?
That's right.
Okay.
But you could say I work at Barstool. Dave's going to get behind this. Dave really wants to own the Bears. Dave does a video, whatever it is, and you guys really put it together. I mean, it would be an inspiring thing. I think you guys could probably at least raise $50 million. I mean, considering some of these projects.
Why don't? All right, and let's say our bid falls short. What happens to that $50 million?
Well, I mean,
do I just pocket that shit?
You can rug it.
Yeah.
All right, Ed. let's do a bear style. Are you guys want to be in on this?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
But no, I mean, in anything, you just have to have a compelling story. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of companies that haven't really had their shit together. I mean, there's probably loads of examples, but have an idea and a vision and get some people to believe in it. And
so
then
it can kind of serve as almost like a not GoFundMe, but like Kickstarter in a way, right? Like for
crowdfund, yeah.
Crowdfund it.
Yeah.
A lot of projects they haven't done anything until they kind of get the money, which is kind of backwards.
Yeah. Okay, that is backwards. Yeah.
It's super backwards. So.
And then what is I mean, if you guys are fine sharing, do you have a top net profit? Like what's your golden, what's your biggest one you've done? If you're fine sharing, if you're not, that's fine too.
You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
No, I flipped some mutants for double the price of what I paid for.
Okay.
So doing well.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, look at that Maki guy's thing too. It's insane.
Can we pull up his? Can we go through his catalog? So then,
I mean, honestly, I wonder if we could just click on. He owns so many, so it's no, not that one.
No, not yeah. He wouldn't own these. But.
So now I've noticed in my neighborhood, they opened up it's on Damon, an NFT gallery.
Oh, I've seen them before too. Yeah.
What is the point of that? If you can just do it already.
Again, I think that's a symptom of first to market-ism.
Okay.
Maybe that's going to be fucking huge in a year. But right now, these first to market kind of ideas kind of look stupid, and I don't know. I guess you could, if Bored-Ape or Mutant Ape were to do hey, we're going to do an art gallery and we're going to mint a project live, and everyone's going to be there. You're going to get, you can log into your OpenSea and see what you got, and people could then bid on what you have in real time, in IRL. That'd be kind of cool. But I mean, I think if you're a small project owner or creator, unless you have a substantial fan base or following, it would be, I haven't really found the utility keyword today for those NFT galleries, but I do think that there will be more of those popping up just because of this first to market kind of strategy.
Other than this Maki guy, is there someone who is renowned for having the most aesthetically, not maybe the most valuable, but the most aesthetically pleasing galleries? Is there a guy that has the Louvre of NFTs?
Maki's one of them.
He is one of them.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, and I can't find.
You could probably
profile.
find him from the Barstool one, the pizza.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's how we found him earlier.
Pranksy, that's another big one.
Pranksy.
Dude, just look at how much this guy has paid and sold some shit for.
Yeah, we can look at his activity, but we'll go here. This highest last sale.
430 ETH.
So that's what he sold it for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he bought it for.
That's what he bought it for?
Because he still owns it, so if we go in
yeah.
here.
So yes, if it's the highest last sale, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a month ago.
So he bought it for
430 ETH.
Okay.
Yeah, which is
and that other person bought it for 5 though, right?
Yeah, scroll down.
It looks like
so that's
9 months ago.
Money.
Wow.
Big time. But then someone else got it at that point, right? So that means maybe there was a cash offer or something.
Yeah,
Is
we
that
were looking
correct?
at these transfers on Friday, and it could be anything.
The transfers are just when you send it to another wallet.
Yeah,
So
but
it could be a different wallet or something.
it could be all one person's wallet, or there could be some sort of cash sale or PayPal or Venmo or whatever
Yeah,
that didn't take place, because honestly, 9 months ago, OpenSea was not what it is today. You know,
yeah.
Is that the most prevalent trading platform?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I think they're doing like $250 million a day or something like that.
A day?
Trading volume and value.
So when I started trading NFTs in June, it was like only 200.
You've only been doing this since June?
Yeah.
How do you guys know so much in 6 months?
Well, you like once you NFT, you're kind of in the space
Okay.
every day, all day. But
And how many trades do you think you've done? So we know about your highest. Like, what's your own volume?
yeah, I mean, this year I told myself I need to do less trades.
New Year's
but
resolution,
hundreds.
less trades?
Yeah.
In the hundreds?
Yeah, hundreds
Okay.
of trades.
There's this concept of gas, and gas is kind of like your fee. Like, think of it as like a ticketing fee or a Ticketmaster fee. Like when you buy something, there's
Okay.
like fees and bullshit. So, and this has kind of become one of those barrier of entries that you mentioned earlier, but on the buying side. So when you buy something for, say, we're going to mint something and it's going to be 0.01 ETH. So it's going to be relatively cheap. And it might cost, I don't know, $100, depending on where the Ethereum market is at the time. And the gas is kind of like your fee. It'll pop up. It's kind of like the fee that you pay to get the transaction processed on the blockchain.
Okay.
And those fees can like range from anywhere from like $250 to
Thousands.
1,000, 2,000.
Depending on how many people are making transactions at that time.
That's interesting.
So you need like Ethereum miners, right?
Yeah.
And the Ethereum network to have the bandwidth to process all the transactions. So because of the sudden influx of all this trading that the 10K projects have produced, the gas fees have gone like through the roof.
So if I'm like, I gotta do some trades, but I'm getting fucked on these fees. Will you wake up at 3 a.m. to do some trading?
Mm-hmm. I've done it before, but
Yeah.
like from June to this year, I've spent like 12 ETH in just gas fees. So, and that's like if there's a hot project that comes out and like you really want to get something, the gas is through the roof and you kind of have to pay it if you want that item because someone else is going to pay it.
Do you have anything in your own collection, your own wallet that you're like, I just can't, I'm attached to this, I can't sell this one?
You know what? I used to be like that, but now I'm kind of stepping away from that and just seeing
about
things
the money.
more like an investment.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like
Interesting.
you do get attached though.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's
Damn.
Damn.
You
All
think
right.
you won't, but then you're like, oh man, like
I think the Bears
I like
might be
this
too
stuff.
expensive, but I do think that we could buy, like, legitimately raise money and buy like an English soccer team, like a lower tier soccer team.
Maybe. How much? What was the land that they bought Arlington on? What was that bid or
Like
whatever?
250-ish million.
Could have done that.
Like,
Yeah.
I would have kept the racetrack there.
I think the gas thing though is more of a barrier of entry. Like when you're
Yeah.
buying something for 430 ETH, like $1,000 or even $10,000 in gas doesn't matter. But the fucked up thing, there is no sliding scale per transaction. It's not based on the value of the transaction. It's just based on how much it costs to process the transaction at the time.
Okay. Oh, it's supply and demand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, damn. Were you guys not following anything? Do you guys have any questions?
We are all wearing the same sweatshirt too.
Yeah, that's wild. Shit. All right. Thanks.
You guys don't have anything? 'Cause Tom, you're kind of a crypto guy.
No, I mean, I don't know if it was already covered, but I guess like I was more curious about like the Bored-Apes, for example. Like you said, it was like all designed by code. Like, is there any NFTs that existed out there that are designed by like a graphic designer, the same as like a Mona Lisa is like,
Yeah,
well, it was
that's a good
designed.
question.
They're
it was
designed
painted by this
by-
artist. Are there like a famous graphic designer that it's like, oh, that was designed by this guy,
Right.
so it's
Yeah.
more valuable.
Yeah, there's a project called Cool Man's Universe, and this guy is like a designer. But it's I wouldn't say it's designed by code. I would say that it's pieced together by code. So all those unique traits are all designed, and then they're
Like, they're probably
assigned
hand-drawn.
like a number, and then like a computer amalgamates them together into different,
But so it doesn't really matter who designed those pieces to begin with, though, or it does matter. Like,
in the Bored-Apes.
in the Bored-Apes example.
Yeah, no, I am not familiar with the person who designed that project.
That's just what baffles me, is that like no one's even talking about, when you talk about those Bored-Apes, no one's talking about the person behind who created the image you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's more about like the traits and what's rare about the traits in the project. But I always think about like, well, who on their laptop designed that? And
But that-
you know what I
that's
mean?
the-
Like, how did that come? How are we looking at this right now? Like, who was the mind behind that? It doesn't seem to matter.
Well,
They wrote the code, I guess. But
the minting process kind of like, even the designer, via the way that the minting process works, they don't know what these final products will look like, even though they've created all the traits.
Yeah.
So like by, that process alone, they might not have as much attachment to it as if it were like a one-on-one, like hand-drawn piece. But there are projects like this project, this Cool Man, where like this is kind of like a well-known person. Oh, that won't work. I wonder why it would let us go on here but not on
Instagram's weird.
yeah.
Cool Man Coffee Dan. And like this guy, I'm not super familiar with him, but he's got a following that it's kind of like pushed this project, to the next level. And I think we will see, like Quentin Tarantino is a creator, right? And he wants to take NFTs from his movies, which is kind of like a big to do right now in Hollywood. I think his studio's having some issues with it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we will see more kind of like design based or like, curator based or some sort of like tastemaker based NFTs. But I don't know.
Is there anything to, let's say you have the person who wrote the code for the apes, and there's one NFT that comes out that ends up being very rare, very valuable, and it gets purchased by Maki, and the creator is like, what, fuck that guy. I'm going to rewrite the code so that his thing that was super rare, now we're punching out other things that are exactly like it's not rare anymore. Is there anything to protect against that?
Yeah, so they can lock the metadata on the blockchain where it can't ever be changed. So it's kind of like...
So they thought of everything.
It's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
It really
You could
is.
still get rugged though, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just gotta get.
I'm
a good
sure if the
project.
Bored-Ape group wanted to do something really stupid,
Yeah.
and fuck everyone over,
They could.
Yeah, I mean, just like any group, but
Yeah.
what's the likelihood of that kind of thing happening?
Have these been juiced at all? Like the Reddit meme stocks, like the GameStop and shit. Has anything like that happened? Like, hey, we're just gonna juice the project and like everyone just go nuts.
Yeah, the NFT community has kind of opened my eyes to the Discord kind of everything, and Discord started on Reddit and was launched. Like a couple guys on Reddit kind of posted about it, and I think it was 2015. But I would say that the NFT community lives on Reddit, but also they create their own Reddit with a Discord server where it's like you can go into the Cool Man Universe Discord, and just like Reddit, there's all sorts of things being discussed in all sorts of different chords, or Discords on their page. And it's really cool, the communities that have been built around these projects, because people, when they get invested, they really care, and also the creators can interact with the people who are holding the project, which is cool. You'll see a lot of when we bought this project like a month ago or something like that for like 0.3 or 0.4, so it's doubled in value then, and it went up all the way to 2, I think. And you go on the Discord and people are freaking out. They're like, delist, like resist and delist, because they're all like, we're going to be holders for life, right? Like this is a special community,
Diamond hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then you see people, and it's kind of like this fun, community aspect where you've got your delisters who are parading that, and then you've got your people like, let's make some money now, like let's do it now. I bought in or I minted, and so the Discord and that's. The Discord of everything has been amazing, and NFTs have really opened my eyes up to that, because I don't know, I feel like imagine a place like Twitter or Reddit, but like everybody's there and cares about the same thing, and it's kind of like a more healthy community, whereas like you could say something that you care about to me, and we could all like relate to it like in this group. But if you say it like on Twitter, somebody, or any social media for that matter, most of them, somebody could take it the wrong way and like completely think you're crazy. But when you're in a community
that gets it,
that's like-minded,
yeah.
you know, and that's what Discord is. And there's all sorts of really nice things that Discord has done with their kind of community guidelines, where when you enter a Discord, you agree to all sorts of, you know, community guidelines, which I think is healthy.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
What do you think? I know you kind of touched on this, where you don't know if it'll plinko down, but do you have like hopes for the NFT space as far as how widespread that technology will be? Like, what is your most bullish prediction about NFTs? Well, each of you.
I think it's evolving so fast every day. That's my bullish case. Like, every day is so different, and like you miss one day in the space and it feels like a week. And yeah, it's like I'll think of more, but
yeah, no, I think I do think that there's going to be a lot of applications for it. I think, you know, big picture, biggest thing that could happen, I mean, maybe voting. You know, it's like, are there things that we can apply kind of a blockchain scenario to?
That would be,
you know, that can ensure and verify certain things, and like,
good luck getting that passed, buddy.
But you know what I'm saying? I think, but just because blockchain exists and NFTs exist, I think like this is kind of the barrier, right? Like when CD players came out, people still bought records, you know? And so there are a lot of applications for things to live on the blockchain, but in order to get like the entire country, or let alone a state, to adopt this type of practice and process, I think is going to be really, really hard. So I think that's very lofty, but I do think that there could be some application, some utility there. I do think in terms of fun projects, like, we've just scratched the surface. I mean, even if you look at this Cool Man, it's, to me, is similar to Bored-Ape. Like, I mean, there's lots of differences, but it's in terms of the way that, to me, just it's a character, chest high, like waist up, you know, with a variation of traits and colors. And I'm excited about just so many different kind of NFT projects. I'm excited to see what Barstool continues to do in the space. I think with your guys's, just all the fun stuff that you guys do, I think there's a lot of interesting things that you can do. And
there's something about these pictures that I like too. And I'm not saying that in like I mean that genuinely. And I'm wondering, like we did a podcast recently about that documentary about the Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Okay. Where it kind of reminds me of that. Like, they're simple. These ones especially are like somewhat expressionless, but they still have expression.
I'll show the cool ones here.
Yeah, the Beanie Babies doc was crazy.
Yeah.
And I would liken what we're in right now
to
Beanie Babies.
Yeah, that's what,
for sure.
Okay.
And like, I don't know if this will completely be like fucked like Beanie Babies' value was.
Well, I don't think so, because it has an inherent technology. Like, these individual collections might be, but the technology, the underlying tech seems like extremely valuable, and it should have all sorts of different applications if people would buy in.
Like this project, I think they're collaborating with Crocs. And like the artist behind this one, he was established for like years before NFTs, and like he created these species and has like a positive message behind him, and like he's evolved to bring him to the NFT space. It's like for this project, it's like there's history behind it. Like the team has been doing this for a while, and it's kind of like a breath of fresh air in that sense. It's not just like another cash grab that someone's trying to put something down your throat.
And it's like Adidas, you said, has one too, right? You were showing me that one.
Yeah,
which is pretty interesting.
And Bored-Apes, I think they partnered with Adidas as well.
Oh, did they? So Adidas got.
Yeah, I have one of these, and like with this one, you're gonna get exclusive merch that only you can get with this NFT. And to redeem it, like you'll burn this NFT, and then they'll give you another one for, you know, like the next drop. So, pretty and cool. Like I think there's only like 20 K of these. 22K.
Does OpenSea charge you a fee per transaction or a monthly membership fee too?
So yeah, I think it's like a 2% fee or something for OpenSea. Yeah, they making so much money.
Good for them. Jesus.
Crushing.
So you said, what'd you say? 250 million
a day.
a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they
get 2%
way
of
more than that in a day.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe now. I mean, I remember they had made $1 billion. It was $1 billion worth of transaction volume the first 3 days of January this year. So.
Yeah, so.
It's wild,
And 2% off of that.
Yeah.
Is that the only place that you can hold NFTs? OpenSea?
You actually don't hold them in OpenSea. You connect your wallet, which holds your NFTs, and you can use any kind of wallet. And then once you connect your wallet, it'll display the NFTs that you have in that wallet on your OpenSea page.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, but it is where you're gonna it's the best marketplace where the most wallets are connected, the most listings are happening. But there's going to be a Coinbase one. There's Nifty Gateway. There's other marketplaces that people enjoy too.
So you said it's a monthly fee for OpenSea, or just a one-time
transaction?
Just a
fee?
transactional fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Are you gonna get in the space time?
No, I was just thinking to compare it to other crypto coins.
Okay.
It's pretty similar.
Okay.
Like on Coinbase, you have to usually pay a fee or.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, guys.
Well,
thanks for the lesson. Hopefully, people out there, if you're listening, hopefully it made sense. I think it'll make more sense if you watch the YouTube. But
subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah.
Well,
before we NFT it, and then you can't ever see it unless we tell you can.
I think that we've just scratched the surface. I think certain people who've watched this, the conversation might be illuminating, but anybody who has experience in the NFT world would know that we've just only scratched the surface of the convo.
Yeah,
but,
that's good. Yeah, that's good to know. And then you also have said too, you've been in since June, and you guys aren't experts per se, right? And so we'll get some wise guys who'll be like, "Oh, I missed this and that." So, well, we did what we could in an hour. So
yeah,
we're all learning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
That was great.
All right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for listening. We will catch you guys next time.